with that being said, the reason why we're here, the reason why we're having a watch party is because the Carolina Panthers are playing on Monday Night Football.
Yes, 7:15 kickoff for those, by the way.
Yeah, a little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier than normal, not the normal 8:15, 7:15 kickoff. I'm excited. This should be a fun one tonight, and we'll get into a little later on. Might be a must-win game.
That voice here is Dennis Cox. Yes. He'll be with us out here at the Ale House. Graham Hill back at the studio, keeping us up and running. Let's just dive into it. Primetime debut for Bryce Young, which is hilarious to think about because I feel like we've had Bryce Young in primetime so much in his college career, first time in the NFL. So I kind of want to raise this question. Does Monday Night Football rattle a quarterback who played at Alabama in some of the biggest venues and some of the biggest and craziest environments in college football? And I answer it with yes, it does, right? 102,000 people at Tennessee, you put up 49 points in a 52-49 loss is one thing. Monday Night Football against a divisional opponent like the New Orleans Saints is a completely other thing. For a few reasons. First, Bryce Young has been wildly polished, right? It's been very, every time he speaks to the media, it feels planned. And that's no disrespect to him that he always says the right thing, right? There's a lot of athletes out there we wish they would learn and just say the right thing. Stop putting their foot in their mouth. But it's the primetime element of Bryce Young has been very, very polished. And there's one thing you can't do in the NFL, which is plan the way a game goes, right? When he's on Camp Confidential with the Panthers, it can be only the best. When he's doing interviews, he can be only the right things said. When he's in preseason, he can say, well, that struggle that didn't affect us. We're keeping it vanilla. In the NFL, it's a, you've heard the phrases, right? It's a productions-based business. It's a results-based business. It's what have you done for me lately? Winning solves everything. There's nowhere to hide on Monday Night Football.
No.
So regardless of all the positives we've heard about him, he's either going to play well or he's not going to play well tonight. And everybody's going to be watching. And there's not going to be anywhere to hide. There's not going to be anything. It's like, oh, he played poorly, but he said the right thing after the game. I guess that'll be a small, if that happens, it'll be a small little silver lining, but really it's not. Speaking of what I'm talking about, here's Frank Reich, his coach, talking about the humble nature of Bryce Young and how, again, kind of everything he says has been right.
The first time you talk to Bryce, he's a humble man, but you also know he's a man, that he has a strong and somewhat in a good way, and I mean this in a complimentary way because all the good ones have is stubborn nature to him, because that's what it takes sometimes to be great, and so he has that blend of confidence and humility that you're looking for.
Yeah, but it's Monday night.
Yeah,
I keep coming back to that, right? Like let's think of Bryce Young's history. Bryce Young's history is a California kid, right? And now, correct me if I'm wrong, when he was growing up, and we're talking elementary school, middle school, early high school, the Alabama quarterbacks were not exactly the murderer's row that they've gotten to recently, right? The Jalen Hurts into Tua Tagovailoa into Mac Jones. I like mixing up my Macs.
Yeah.
Into Mac Jones, and then finally, of course, Bryce Young. It wasn't that, right? It was A.J. McCarron. It was Coker, Trickett. It was Greg McElroy, John Parker Wilson, Brody Croyle, if you go back even further. Like, those guys are not going to be I don't think he dreamed of playing at Alabama. I think Alabama was a business decision. I think Alabama was, where am I most likely to get set up to be in the NFL? Where am I most likely set up to win a championship? So he chose Alabama. He was not always committed to Alabama. I think he was actually committed to USC first. So while not dreaming of Alabama, I got to play in some big events. I think every quarterback, every football player dreams of playing Monday Night Football. There's going to be that whoa moment. There's going to be that moment of, all right, I'm here. I'm playing against the Saints. I'm playing against Derek Carr, who's a California guy, right? And I watched him for a bunch of years. I'm playing against Cam Jordan. I'm playing against the Saints, right? I think there's going to be a moment where we're going to see if Monday Night Football will rattle him, and that's important. Brian Burns, his teammate, talked about if Monday Night Football adds a little extra motivation.
Oh, that's always a goal. When you have these primetime games, everybody's watching, even your peers, because they're not playing on a Monday. So that's always the goal, is to show them what you can do and put the league on notice. But I want to put the league on notice more of a defensive standpoint than just myself. I want them to know how we are on defense,
There's Brian Burns. Of course, Monday Night Football is extra motivation, and Brian Burns has been in the league for a couple years.
Yeah.
He's played primetime games already. Hey, Graham, just a little heads up. Get some kind of sounder for breaking news if you can. I'm going to make one more point, then we're going to get to some breaking news. The last point, I'm going to equate what Sam Howell did over the weekend.
Okay.
There's a few, I call them big boxes that a quarterback has to check.
All right.
Right? You need to be physically good enough. You need to make the throws. You need to be quick. There's the scheme, right? You need to be able to dissect a defense and then have defenses all adjust to you and then beat them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other thing, right? Some people call it. Some people call it poise. Some people call it X factor. So I don't know what you call it, but it's where you stare adversity down, where you stare a big game down and you don't flinch. Sam Howell, I think, did a lot towards proving he can do that over the weekend when he was down, what was it, 21-3 to the Denver Broncos. And then again, threw in basically stared that down and said, I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to play perfect, but I'm going to be good enough to win.
Yeah.
That's kind of that, hey, I'm a quarterback that doesn't wilt under pressure thing. Bryce Young gets a chance to do that tonight, right? It's Monday Night Football, divisional opponent. If you lose, you go down 2 games on everyone in the division. Puts yourself in a really tough situation. You stare down that obstacle, we'll see how it goes, right? We'll see how if you've checked that box a little bit more today. Graham, let's hit that breaking news. Oh, it's downloading. So we'll just go ahead and say, breaking news. The Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes have restructured his agreement. There we go. I didn't give you enough heads up, but it came through. Adam Schefter tweets out, the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes have restructured his agreement, giving him $210.6 million between 2023 and 2026, the most in NFL history over a 4-season span. His compensation for those years is also now guaranteed. Also, the Chiefs and Mahomes plan to revisit the agreement after the 2026 season, as told to ESPN by Equity Sports CEO Chris Cabot, who negotiated the deal on behalf of Mahomes. Mahomes, I guess he was tired of watching all these guys get way more money than him. I guess he was tired of, wait, Joe Burrow got how much? Wait, Justin Herbert got how much? Wait, Deshaun Watson got how much? Wait, Jalen Hurts got how much? Lamar Jackson got how much? Russell Wilson got how much? We could go on and on. Aaron Rodgers got how much? And he played 4 snaps for him, and he's going to get all that money? Someone's got to pay me more. Oh, by the way, I'm out here running around with Sky Moore as my number 1 wide receiver. Right. Somebody's going to have to pay me. And the Chiefs said, sure, how much?
So basically they just shortened the deal.
And gave him a bunch more money.
And they just basically just bloated all the money of the contract into that shortened deal.